Already we could generate the fields to protect us in times of strife. But these were small and simple things. To replicate them on a scale the size of a world. We lack the energy to make it so. Half the world, they said then. It is better than none at all. We tried. Again, we failed. A quarter, they asked. Even this we could not do. A sixth, an eighth, a tenth, they cried. The answer was still the same. Perhaps in time a city might be spared. But it was time we did not have. So we moved on.
You keep appearing in weird spots, eh? Oh, I see where you probably want me to go. Ooh, don't fall. This way? Probably not. Or is this just the way down? Oh, we're back here. Must be more, because that does not seem like the end of that discussion. It's not letting me climb on that at all. How about this? No. There we go. Keep on going up. Can we keep going up? I don't think we can. Oh boy. Oh boy, Desmond. Okay, I don't know where the next one would be, because there's no way there's just those two. I don't think it's going to be in this little area. How do I get out? There you go. Woo! You have anything to say over here?
Stop wasting time.
Fine, I'm gonna go waste some more time then. Just encouraging me, Dad. Desmond. I think this new free running just encourages more random things. Ooh, let's not fall down there. Unless... No, I don't think we're supposed to go down there. I think I got more emails. So let's go. Stay far away from the Animus, because apparently walking by it sometimes makes me go in. Ugh. From Rebecca Crane. Sean is really getting on my nerves. You think with everything that's going on, the guy would stop being such a douche. Maybe he thinks it's funny. Or maybe it's part of his snarky British charm. Or maybe that it's how he deals with the stress. Whatever it is, it's getting old real fast. We got enough to worry about, you know, and end of the world and everything. You think he show a little restraint or maturity or something. Sorry, not like you need to hear me venting, but you got enough on your plate. Please don't say anything to him, though. So really, you're venting to me now that Lucy ain't here. William Miles, disappointed. In case you haven't noticed, we're knee-deep in shit here. I understand that might not be your idea of a good time. Is it anyone's idea of a good time? It isn't anyone's idea of a good time. Picking fights isn't going to Picking fights isn't going to get our work finished any faster, so I suggest you stick to the mission. The sooner we're through the door, the sooner we can get back to our lives, or in your case, the lack of one. Dad. Good job, bro. I was only in the Animus for like 2 seconds. How have we already gone through like 4 days? Sean Hastings, your father. William's not the most diplomatic man, I'll give you that, but he cares about you very much. When you were under during the whole bit with 16, he never left your side. Even slept in the same room when we put down for the night. Anyway, don't mean to be a busybody. Just didn't want you to stay sore with him. Not to soar, anyway. The man means well, even if he gets an odd way of showing it. Nothing really there. Are they gonna let me leave? Ooh. Oh, no. The game's not gonna let me leave. Or? No. Gave me hope for a bit, game. Gave me hope. So let's go back into the Animus and read the entries, and then depending on how much time we have left, I might finish the session there. Now that we are done out here. Okay. Boop. And boop. Okay, let's look at the codex. We have a lot of recent entries. Can we go... Yeah, let's start from the bottom. Braddock Expedition, date July 9th, 1755. This battle was part of the French and Indian War. In it, Edward Braddock's force of 1,500 British regulars and militia were decimated by a group of French-led troops in half its size. This is not something we talk about much in Britain. Nope, that's usually how history works. Braddock had been sent to capture Fort Duquesne at the top of Iowa River. His officers included a young George Washington, possibly because Washington knew the area, having surrendered at force necessity the year before. Braddock's troops were about 10 miles from Fort Duquesne when they were ambushed by a group of French and indigenous fighters. Braddock's advanced troops were overwhelmed and fell back into the main body of the army. His rear guard didn't hear the order to stop and kept advancing into the main body of the army. The result was chaos. Almost every one of his officers was killed, with the exception of Washington. Braddock himself was fatally wounded. Washington had him carried from the field and he died 4 days later. An interesting historical note, Braddock gave his officer's sash to George Washington, asking him to preserve it. Washington did. It's still a display at Mount Vernon. The battle is also known as Braddock's defeat, but interestingly, no one knows why. I'm kidding, though if you need me to tell you why, I don't think you're really cut out for this. Ugh. Abenaki? The Abenaki nation originated in what's now northern New England and southern Canadian Maritimes. Although suggesting there are only one nation may be a bit of a misnomer, since Abenaki can refer to numerous groups from the same approximate geographic area and language family. Algonquin? Since you asked. Although I actually was curious. Although the various Abenaki would join together during crisis events, like when they were under attack from other nations, for the most part they had no central authority. That's probably partially what caused the encroachment of British colonists on their land. The British like to have formal governments that couldn't negotiate treaties with. It's just so much more civilized, and sometimes they are canapes. So from the colonist perspective, no central government meant that the Abenaki had no claim on the land. Of course, they could have found out otherwise, but that would have taken work and been complicated, and perhaps most importantly, the Abenaki would have said no. Well, it was colonization. It was not 100% great. While the Abenaki tried to remain neutral during the French and Indian War, they were quite literally caught between the warring British and French colonies, so some conflict was inevitable. For the most part, they sided with the French, who were less responsible for driving them out of their homelands. The lesser of two evils, I suppose you could say, though that sentence I never thought I'd say about the French. There's probably more in situations, honestly. Lenape, also called the Lenape, or the Delaware. Before European colonization, the Lenape, I'm saying all these wrong, I'm so sorry, lived mostly along the banks of the Delaware River in what's modern-day New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Lenape was one of the first nations to come into contact with Europeans, most significantly with William Penn, who founded Pennsylvania, which was a stroke of luck given his name. While the Lenape relationship with Penn was mostly peaceful, when Penn died, his sons forced more of the Lenape off their land in a deal known as the Walking Purchase. During the French and Indian War, the Lenape sided primarily with the French, though some individual groups would later leave to join the British. In 1778, they were first to sign a land treaty with the Continental Congress, agreeing to provide scouts to the army in exchange for supplies. I imagine they simply liked fine cheeses and onions. The newly formed United States showed its gratitude by eventually moving the Lenape into isolated communities in Iowa and southern Canada. How wonderfully thoughtful. Shawnee. At the time of the French and Indian War, the people of the Shawnee Nation were mostly living in and around Idaho Valley, the territory surrounding Fort Duquesne. Traditionally, their hunting grounds had extended to Pennsylvania and Virginia, but they were being slowly moved from their land by the advancing line of British colonization. Hoping to stop or at least slow settlement, some of the Shawnee entered the war siding with the traditional trading partners, that is, the French. By 1758, some Shawnee negotiated peace with the British in the Treaty of Easton. However, the treaty wasn't respected. Surprise, surprise. And if you know anything about colonial history, you're probably sadly unsurprised by that. Leading to another war. Pontiac's rebellion in 1763. By the end, the American Revolution started. Many of the Shawnee opted to remain neutral, although some sided with the British, again hoping for help pushing back colonists. Unfortunately, well, the British would want the colonists to keep pushing too, because that would bring more land and wealth to them. Fortunately, the result was the same as many other indigenous peoples. The Shawnee were forced to leave their land, with the majority eventually settling in Oklahoma. Good lord, settling in Oklahoma, as if their story couldn't get any worse. Sean. Edward Braddock, updated. I don't know which of these I read, so I'll just read them all, I guess. Was a major general placed in charge of the British troops at the beginning of the French and Indian War, probably because he had the nickname like Bulldog. Braddock was serving as the acting governor of Gibraltar. When he received command in North America, he was given control of the 2 regiments of regulars assigned to win Beaufort, away from the French, known as Braddock Expedition, as part of a larger attack on the French colonies on the continent. Braddock had been well liked as governor in Gibraltar, but things changed since he reached North America. He had been known for keeping strict order among his troops, but it seemed he went beyond that into brutality. He gained a reputation for being quick-tempered and cruel. He also displayed a contempt for non-British soldiers that alienated the colonial militia he was trying to recruit. So a cruel, racist bulldog then. They're my least favorite type of bulldog. I don't even particularly like bulldogs to begin with. Braddock took a bullet to the chest during a battle in 1755. Rumor has it from one of his own soldiers, which is a job hazard when you're nasty to the people around you and they all have guns. Sounds like the bulldog may have been put down. It was George Washington who carried Braddock from the field on his sash, which Braddock had then entrusted to Washington. The carrying bit may sound a bit odd, but the sash is bigger than it looks, more than 3 meters long, and doubled as a field hammock. It says something about officers that they wear a piece of clothing designed to carry their body off the battlefield, which would also single them out for getting shot at. The ways of war are mysterious. Braddock died of his injuries a few days later. Washington kept the sash. Here's something interesting. Okay. So, this is where the updates are. Good. I'm glad I realized that now. Here's something interesting. Because of the concerns the enemy soldiers would desecrate Braddock's body, he was buried under the roads. The wagons would run over the earth and hide the gravestone. In 1804, Red workers rediscovered the remains, and they were moved to another site, which is now marked by a monument. That makes sense, honestly. It'd be really nice if there was a way to, like, an audio thing that would tell me how to properly pronounce these, so I wouldn't pronounce them wrong. But Kanaka? Most commonly known these days as Mohawk Valley. This valley follows the Mohawk River as it runs between Catskill and Adirondack Mountains. It became part of the Kanaka, sometimes known as Mohawk in English, hence the name. The valley also happens to be the only natural route from the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes, meaning it was the only easy way to get from the coast into frontier territory and up into Canada. This made the valley incredibly strategically important during the French and Indian War and during the Revolutionary War. And by strategically important, I mean the valley was contested territory and regularly raided. Most of the settlements in it were razed during the Revolutionary War. Actually, the damage to the surrounding farmland was so bad the food had to be shipped into the area from the south. The revolution is known in the areas as the burning of the valleys. That says it all, really. Yep. Names definitely do that. Kanentoko, born 1756, a friend of Ratanhaktan from the same village. The 2 boys were the same age and members of the same clan, making them cousins, though the connection may have been somewhat distant. Boys were inseparable throughout their childhood, which Kanhatokan, being the most conservative of the 2, that is, Ratanhaktan, would be the one to get them in trouble, and Kanhatakan would try to talk them out of it. And then we're back with Zio. Actions during the Braddock expedition, along with her relationship with the known Templar, more or less excluded her from becoming a clan mother herself in adulthood. However, it seems even after her child was born, she continued arguing for action in the war rather than restraint advocate by the village elders. She did, however, cut off contact with Hatham. It's not clear why the Templars attacked in 1760, or what their objective might have been. The village was nearly destroyed, but recovered over the course of several years. Okay. Yep. This is so beautiful. This story definitely took a twist that I don't. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I did hear things about the main character's father being a Templar. I forgot that completely. Like, I knew we would eventually play as Hatham's son. I knew that much, but I forgot about the Templar part. So that surprise definitely came from left field for me. And I like twists like that. I am angry. I am very angry, but it's the good kind of angry. Where are we? Ooh. Now we can do food points. Maybe let's at least go get one. Because I have time to do at least one. If I can get around this river. Yes, I can. Hey, bunny. So, yeah, I don't know. This game just became way more interesting. Not that it wasn't interesting before. I'm actually really liking this so far. Even though it is a pain in the butt sometimes. With how close you have to run after people, for example. But that's always annoyed me. Okay. I'm not gonna be able to do this viewpoint, am I? I'm gonna have to just go do story, huh? Yup. Okay, the desync thing, it looks super cool. Okay. That's a cool view. Oh, I'm excited now. I'm very excited for this game that I was having fun with already. So that is impressive. I'll give you guys that. Let's run back to where we would have started. Although the game's probably just gonna load me into some random spot anyways. But yeah, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you had a good time. I'll see. Oh, it's dinner time too. Oh. Distraction as I look at the time for the first time. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.